Hello friends, since it's so nice out today, I thought I'd read to you from my deck. So we're on chapter 8, part 2. Ralph pushed some leaves aside and crawled under others. Where was that watch anyway? Remember, Ralph was looking for the watch to give it to Garth, or so that Garth could see that it was there. There was no telling how many leaves had fallen since Catso had dropped the watch. Ralph crawled deeper and deeper into the leaves and was finally rewarded by the touch of metal against his paw. Next, Ralph grasped the buckle on the leather strap and tugged. The watch was heavier than he had expected, but it slid across the smooth inside surface of the leaf. Ralph waded up through the leaves, pulling with all his strength, and at last emerged, dragging the watch behind him. "See," he said, "I told you I knew where it was." "Well, what do you know?" Garth sat down on the step to the craft shop. "You really did. How did the watch get there?" "I told you," Ralph said impatiently. "Catso picked it up in his mouth, carried it out here, batted it around a while, and finally dropped it where it slid under a leaf." "You know, I believe you're telling the truth," said Garth, with wonder in his voice. "Of course I'm telling the truth," Ralph said. "But what good does it do me?" asked Garth. "You know I can't return it. And if I said Catso stole it, people would laugh at me." This moment was the one Ralph had been waiting for. First, he pulled some bamboo leaves over the watch to hide it before he faced Garth. "All right, let's talk business," he said. "I return the watch and clear your name. You give me my motorcycle back." From the trampoline, Ralph heard Lana say as she bounced, "Bad dog, Sam. You're supposed to be a watchdog." She stopped bouncing and began to scold Sam. "You're a watchdog. Why didn't you watch what Catso was doing? Why did you let Catso get that poor little mouse?" Garth thought a while before he said, "Why do you want the motorcycle? The ground is pretty uneven around here." "Why do you want it?" countered Ralph. "You're too big to ride it. It's a mouse size, not a boy size." "I want it because I like to think about motorcycles," said Garth. "I push it back and forth and think about riding a motorcycle when I grow up." "I want it to ride," said Ralph. "Now, back to the Mountain View Inn. I want to go home." "The Mountain View Inn?" Garth was incredulous. "That's over a mile away. You'd never make it." Ralph recalled the long and thrilling downhill ride. He remembered how he had thought at the time that he would never be able to go back up the mountain road. "Maybe you're right," he admitted. "Of course you wouldn't," said Garth. He pulled the motorcycle out of his pocket and ran a finger over the front tire. "For one thing, your tires would never stand the trip. They're wearing smooth. There's still a lot of mileage left in them if you ride on floors, but they won't hold up on a highway." Oh, Ralph had not considered the possibility of his tires wearing out. "And another thing," said Garth, "you'd probably get laryngitis from making a motorcycle noise before you were halfway there." Ralph was utterly dejected. "I suppose you're right." Bad Sam, scolded Lana from the trampoline. Ralph ducked under a leaf while some campers walked past. "What am I going to do?" he asked pitifully as he emerged. "I can't stay here with the cats. I'm a hotel mouse. I'm not used to living on weed seeds out in the cold. When winter comes, I'll probably die if the cats don't get me first. I've got to try to make it back to the hotel." "You should have thought about things like that before you ran away," chided Garth. "I should, but I didn't," said Ralph coldly. "You don't have to sound like a grown-up." "Sorry," apologized Garth. The dinner bell rang, and campers began to run toward the dining hall. Catso, avoiding Lana, with a haunted look on his furry face, darted from one hiding place to the next on his way to the kitchen door. Poor old Sam, so conscientious and anxious to please, padded dejectedly across the grass with his tail drooping. He had failed in his duty. Ralph did not have much time. "Do we have an agreement or don't we?" he demanded of the boy. "I have a better idea," said Garth. "I'll take you back to the hotel myself when my family comes to get me. They'll be spending the night there before they come to pick me up the day after tomorrow. The camp doesn't serve us lunch on the day we leave, so I know we'll stop at the inn for lunch before we start for home. It's the only place around here. I could easily take you along in my pocket." This offer was more than Ralph had hoped for. "But the motorcycle," he persisted. "If I return the watch, will you give it back?" Ralph felt he would rather perish at Happy Acres Camp than return to the hotel without his motorcycle. "How will you return it?" Garth was curious. "You couldn't get it up on the shelf in the craft shop or up on a desk in the office." "I didn't say where I would return it," answered Ralph. "I said I would return it. I'll leave it somewhere where Karen is sure to find it." Garth thought this plan over. But people might think I left it there. Ralph had an answer. Not if I leave it someplace where boys can't go. You mean the girls' bathroom? Asked Garth, visibly impressed by Ralph's idea. Maybe, said Ralph, carelessly, or Karen's lodge, or the girls' dressing room by the swimming pool. You better make up your mind or you'll be late for lunch. It's a deal, said Garth suddenly. You return the watch by tomorrow, and I'll give you back your motorcycle. The next day I'll take you to the inn. But remember, no watch,